In this video, we are going to be making a triangle with OpenGL. So, to draw a triangle with OpenGL or anything you are drawing, you need to use shaders. If you don't know what a shader is, shaders are just basically small programs that runs on the GPU, and the language in which we write shaders is known as GLSL or GL shading language. In this video, we will not focus on shaders, so just copy and paste it. After copying our GLSL source code to our program, we need to build and compile these shaders from the source codes that we just copied. For that, we will declare an unsigned integer vertex shader that will hold the ID of the program that this function create, and we will also tell the GL create shader function the type of shader that we want to create, and then we will provide the source code of our shader to the shader program that we just created. With the GL shader source code function, as you can see, this function takes 4 arguments. The first is ID of the shader that we want to compile. The second argument specifies how many strings we are providing as a source code, and then we provide the actual source code and we leave the last one to null. And then this function is pretty obvious. And the next few lines of code is just for error checking. And then we do the same process for fragment shader. Now we are going to create a shader program. A shader program is a combination of all the shaders that are used to draw stuff on the screen. With this function, we attach our custom shader into our shader program. As this function's name suggests, this function links the entire shader program together, and then some error checking for our program. Then we delete the shaders that we just created. We don't need them because our shader program is created. Now we are creating vertex buffer object, which is VBO, and vertex array object, which is VAO. Vertex buffer object is an array of vertices of objects that we want to draw. In our case, we are drawing a triangle, so it will be vertices of a triangle. Vertex array objects store configuration for different VBOs. First, we have to create vertex array object or VAO with GL generate vertex arrays function which requires 2 arguments, the first one being the number of it and the second an unsigned integer. After that, we create VBO with genBuffer function. We need VBO because with the help of VBO, we transfer the entire data required for creating an object to the GPU, which reduces the time required for processing. Next, we bind the vertex array to our current vertex array object and array buffer to our current vertex buffer object. Then we pass our object data to our buffer with buffer data object, which requires the type of buffer that we are passing the data to and the size of that data. First, let's create the vertices for our triangle. And the third parameter it requires is the data itself, and then it requires that how we are going to use our data. With vertex attribute pointer function we configure that how we want to use our data. Then we enable the vertex attribute array. And here we unbind the buffer. Now in our while loop we are using our shader program that we created above. After that we bind our vertex array object to the current VAO. Then we draw triangles which requires 3 arguments. First is the type of primitives that we want to draw our object in, and the second argument specifies the index for which we want to draw, and the third argument is the number of vertices that we want to draw, so we pass in 3. After this long journey, here's our Opengl triangle.